So last Thursday marked the start of the Hitman 3 Year 2 content roadmap that they laid out the week before, which coincided with the 1 year anniversary of Hitman 3, I believe. And one of the things they announced was Hitman 3 was coming to the PC on different platforms, which meant PCVR was going to be a thing. Now previously, as many will know, the Hitman 3 VR mode was only available on the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5. The PlayStation 5 was technically running it via backwards compatibility, but due to the horsepower of the PS5, it was running it at a much clearer resolution and a bit better graphical fidelity. However, as Aidan picked up in his review when he talked about Hitman 3 way back at the start of last year, Hitman 3 on the PlayStation VR was limited to DualShock controls only. Couple reasons for this. We assume it was because the PlayStation Move controllers are infamously difficult to program, which I can only go so far in giving them leeway on, as we've seen plenty of other developers kind of tackle these Move controllers. Walking Dead Saints and Sinners does great implementation. Skyrim has great implementation. Almost, I mean, it'd take me too long to name every VR game on the PlayStation that has good implementation of VR controllers. So for Hitman to not have them on the PlayStation, to me, read as, I wouldn't say laziness, more just lack of maybe funding to do that. I mean, obviously making a full VR mode that uses motion controllers, it's a hefty task when you're taking a flat screen game that was designed for the flat screen and essentially lifting it into virtual reality. So the mode was quite disappointing because of that. I did have fun with it at the time. It was probably my preferred way to play Hitman for a small while. It looked actually, in my opinion, looked really great on the PlayStation 5. You did have a bit of pop-in, which was just kind of par for the course with the technology. But for me, I was having fun exploring these huge environments. And while I didn't have the motion controls to, you know, get the most out of being Hitman, it was still fun to explore, you know, levels from Hitman 1, 2, and 3, albeit in a more confined way as you've only got a controller in your hand. So cut to 2 Thursdays ago, and I think this was teased before, but they announced with it coming to PC, it's coming to VR on the PC, but it'll have full motion control support. Hooray, we all thought. Oh, how wrong we were. One of the things they said during this was, so they showed a bit of gameplay, and it was kind of what we wanted. It was, you know, because PC only really has motion controlled VR. I've never actually played a PC game where you don't use motion controlled VR. So I was going to support Hitman VR with motion controls, which is what everyone wanted. To many, that's a huge selling point for VR as well, to have such a huge, well, 3 huge games motion controlled. And when they said on the stream, I believe they said we wanted to maybe not set the bar, but I think it was something along those lines, that we wanted to really reach a high mark of PC VR interaction. To me, when I hear that, I think of Boneworks is the one that jumps out to me. Anyone unfamiliar with Boneworks, it's this Half-Life inspired, physics-based first-person shooter, puzzler, platformer, I guess, for PC VR only, and that's built on an incredibly robust physics engine. Everything is interactable, which may sound, on the one hand, you know, is that a gimmick, but in Boneworks, it's really part of the game. There's one part near the start where there's this turret you can't get past, and you can get past in a couple of ways, but the one that I did at least is you pick up a garbage can lid, pick it up, use that as a shield, walk along, maybe pop a couple shots, stuff like that. Again, there's loads of other examples. Half-Life Alyx, pretty much every item you walk past you can throw about. They don't have much use, but you can pick them up, throw them about. So when you hear that Hitman 3 is going to have this, I assume, this type of interaction when they say they're going to set the bar or they're going to raise the bar. Hitman's a game you can always use multiple weapons, loads of things you can pick up and use as killing devices as you look for your targets. So I downloaded it off of Game Pass, which was great because I was kind of worried I was going to have to pick up this full trilogy again on PC. Wasn't sure if my PC could run it. It does fall below the minimum specs of the VR requirements, which I'll get onto in a minute. But it's on Game Pass, the entire trilogy, and playable on VR via Game Pass, which is great to see that support there. So it comes out on the Thursday. Install it while I'm working. Really excited to boot it up. Right away, what I'm going to get out of the way, because it's hard for me to pin this on the game, but I have heard people with better better graphic cards than me have the same issue. I'm running a 1660 Super, which is a very mid-range or maybe even low-range graphics card on my PC, which on one hand, that is below the minimum specs for Hitman, so I can't complain too much, but I can run Half-Life Alyx on high settings on that graphics card. And Half-Life Alyx, I know they're different games and what they're achieving, but Half-Life Alyx to me is the benchmark in graphical fidelity on PlayStation PCVR, I should say. So when I booted this game up and it was a blurry mess, I was quite disappointed. It wasn't too bad in the tutorial level. I could get past it. I was like, okay, it's a bit blurry, but I understand. I've not got a great computer. It's obviously going to look worse than the PlayStation 5 for me because my PlayStation 5 is less powerful than my PC. But when I started at the Paris level, it was hideous. It was so blurry. It was unplayable for me, to be honest. I couldn't really get past the blurriness. I've already got blurry eye vision without my glasses on. Don't worry, I can see. But to have I play VR with my glasses off, so to have a headset strapped to my face and not have a clue what I'm looking at, it was not what I wanted to spend a couple of hours doing. Well, ideally tons of hours. That aside, which I need to mention, I've heard plenty of YouTubers who are running what 3080s, the top end graphics card, have the same issues with blurriness. So it's not just me. With that said, the other point right away that I noticed was I booted up the tutorial level. I accidentally skipped the main tutorial by accident, so I was having some issues with audio. That was more just my PC. And I started up the kind of first tutorial mission where you're on the boat and it's teaching you the ropes. And right away I thought, oh my god, both my hands is exactly what I wanted. You're gonna go through and it's like, take out this guard. And I could stick my arms out and grab him and kill him, sorry. And then right away the first thing I noticed when I was like, look at him and grab him. And as a VR player, your first instinct is to reach out your arm and grab him with this arm and kind of pull him along with your motion controlled hand. Hitman doesn't do that. I can't remember, but either you press a button or maybe you do reach out with that hand, but then both your hands lock onto it and you're kind of like shuffling them along, which yes, that's what's happening. That's what's happening in the flat screen game. But it's weird because it immediately breaks the immersion, because the whole point of VR is you need to feel like you are controlling your limbs. You know, Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, to bring that up again. When you use an axe, you grab it one handed, it's a bit flimsy, you can't really control it. Grab it with the second hand, you got full weight and you can whack people with it. In this, it was just like, boom, you've got it. And I was like, okay, that's strange. And then I was like, okay, there's a button prompt to put them in the locker, fine, whatever. And then I kept playing, and then it slowly dawned on me that this isn't a different VR version from what we got in the PlayStation. It's the exact same game, but with a left hand that you do nothing with. It might as well not be there, which was the whole kind of thing with the PlayStation VR one. It's useless. So I kept playing for a bit, and then I did the Paris level and a couple other levels, and I was more just trying to get a feel for it and like the controls. So I was like, okay, I'll use my gun. The gun just feels really awkward. It again just feels like the PlayStation VR one, and that's all I can kind of say for it. It's immensely disappointing. It is the exact same VR port we got for the PlayStation with the exact same issues. But with the PlayStation VR one, I could kind of go easy on it because of the hardware, and this, there's no excuse here. It's so odd, and on the one hand, they didn't have to do this. It's a free VR mode. The problem is promoting your VR mode, saying it's the benchmark or whatever the hell they said about VR controls. That's going to sell people who don't have an interest in VR, who are massive Hitman fans, who could spend hundreds of pounds buying a VR headset, upgrading their computer, and they play this shit, and it just does nothing but bad press for VR, which, like, VR does not need any more bad press. It's already got this weird reputation. So for a biggest game of Hitman to come out and just completely drop the ball here and lie, essentially, about their VR implementation is pretty unforgivable in my eyes. And again, people will have fun with it because it is Hitman, and I feel like if you didn't have those expectations, you might not be disappointed. But for me, it not only disappointed me, but it's damaging for the VR industry in a way. Not if VR's going to die because there's one game, but I mean, it just sucks because I probably would have played this. I mean, again, it was blurry. I would have rathered I could dial the graphic fidelity down and have it clear, and maybe like get the crowd density down, but I have no interest in playing it because I'm standing up. I like to play VR standing up, got my hands there, and I feel like I might as well have a DualShock. And I don't know, and like when you interact with people, it's just the physics aren't there. Like you can touch something, they'll just like fly about, and it's just, this isn't VR to me, which it just sucks. I don't know what happened here. I thought this was going to be like a huge comeback. Not a comeback, Hitman's a great game. I want to get that away. Hitman 3 is a great game, but in VR, it's a much lesser game. And what also sucks is, after this came out, I thought they were going to go, cool, now we're going to get PlayStation VR 2 when that comes out, with these motion controls and using the orbs or the DualSense, I can't remember what they're called, with that implementation. So it's going to be even better than Hitman 3 VR could be this. It could stand up there with your Walking Dead, your Half-Life, your Boneworks, your Beat Sabers, these titans of the VR industry. And now it feels like a game from 2016 that, you know, you show this to somebody, if this was like, look, I want to show you VR, here's the first game to try. If you show them this, they're not going to buy it. That first impression with VR is so important. And if you show them this, it just drops the ball. I don't think it can be fixed either. The game would need completely rebuilt from the ground up, which I don't think is going to happen. But maybe something can happen to at least make that left hand useful, please. It reminds me of Doom VR, VFR. You had this like weird grenade launcher sticking out your hand and you go like, and it was just like there in your peripheral vision, but now you've got an entire left hand in the way. So, oh well, it's a shame. We've got other VR games coming around the corner, which I can't wait to check out. I just think this one's a shame because it could have been a huge one that, especially with a lot of people, a lot of eyes on it, I think, could have been one that got VR a little kick, just a little kick as we approach PSVR 2 this Christmas, which I think is coming out. But what did you think of Hitman 3 VR? If you played it, would you play it? Do you have any interest in playing it? Does this put you off playing it? What would you maybe want to see if they did update it? But in the meantime, make sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned for more content from me and the guys. Cheers.